Most people think gunpowder is the secret ingredient behind real stopping power. Explosions, smoke, brass flying everywhere. But that belief is outdated. What you're about to see proves that raw destruction doesn't need a single grain of powder to be terrifyingly effective. These aren't toys. These aren't novelty gadgets. These are real-world, battle-tested, or engineering-driven weapons that rely on pressure, electricity, mechanics, or pure physics to do serious damage. Some of these are legal in more places than firearms. Some are restricted for a reason, and some blur the line between science fiction and modern warfare. Today, we're counting down 35 lethal weapons that don't need gunpowder. And once you see what non-explosive technology is capable of, you'll never look at air-powered or mechanical the same way again. Let's start with something that turns fear itself into a weapon. Number 18. Can Cannon. At first glance, the can cannon looks like a novelty. It fires soda cans. But here's the problem. It fires them using compressed air at extreme pressure, turning everyday aluminum into high-speed, blunt-force projectiles. A full can launched from a can cannon can travel over 100 yards, delivering enough kinetic energy to shatter plywood, dent metal, and cause serious bodily harm. Empty cans? Still dangerous. Full cans? Absolutely brutal. Because the projectile deforms on impact, it transfers energy incredibly efficiently. That means massive trauma without penetration, broken bones, internal injuries, and instant incapacitation. Law enforcement demonstrations have shown how unpredictable and destructive these impacts can be. And unlike traditional launchers, there's no explosive propellant involved, just pressure, release, and physics doing the rest. It's proof that lethality isn't about bullets, it's about energy transfer.
Number 17. XRODs XM42. This is not a flamethrower in the way Hollywood portrays them. The XM42 is a modern, civilian legal flame projector that mounts directly to a standard AR platform, and it doesn't use gunpowder at all. No cartridges, no explosions, just pressurized fuel and ignition. With the pull of a trigger, it can send a continuous stream of fire over 25 feet, instantly igniting anything in its path. Brush, barriers, psychological resistance, gone. What makes the XM42 especially unsettling isn't just the flames, it's control. You're not launching fire blindly, you're directing it with precision, pulsing bursts or sustained output depending on the situation. Military history shows that flame weapons aren't just physically destructive, they're mentally paralyzing. Few things stop aggression faster than an advancing wall of fire that can't be outrun or reasoned with. And because it relies on pressure and ignition instead of gunpowder, it exists in a strange legal gray zone that surprises a lot of people. But if you think fire is intimidating, wait until electricity enters the picture. Number 16. CA09 Coil Accelerator. This is where physics replaces chemistry. The CA09 Coil Accelerator is an electromagnetic launcher, often referred to as a coil gun. Instead of burning powder, it uses rapid electromagnetic fields to accelerate a projectile downrange at extreme speed. Each shot is driven by precisely timed electric coils that pull the projectile forward again and again, stacking velocity without a single explosion. No recoil, no muzzle flash, just a sharp mechanical snap and a round screaming forward. The real danger here is penetration. Coil guns deliver dense kinetic energy, allowing solid projectiles to punch through materials that would normally stop traditional rounds at similar sizes. There's also virtually no sound signature compared to firearms, making it difficult to locate the shooter's position. That alone makes electromagnetic weapons a serious concern for future combat scenarios. This isn't experimental garage tech anymore. Devices like the CA09 represent a shift towards silent, electrically driven lethality,
and they're only getting more powerful as battery technology improves. And speaking of power, let's talk about something that looks ridiculous until you see what it does.
Number 15. Steambo Fenrris. This is what happens when medieval engineering meets modern tactical design. The Steambo Fenrris isn't a traditional crossbow. It's a repeating, magazine-fed tactical bow system built for speed, lethality, and sustained fire. No gunpowder, no compressed gas, just stored mechanical energy unleashed with terrifying efficiency. The Fenrris fires full-length bolts at speeds exceeding 300 feet per second, fast enough to punch deep into ballistic gel and deliver lethal penetration through thick clothing, bone, and light armor. But what really sets it apart is capacity. Unlike classic crossbows that leave you vulnerable after every shot, the Fenrris feeds from detachable magazines, allowing rapid follow-up shots that completely change how a crossbow can be used defensively. It's quiet, almost eerily so. There's no report, no flash, just the snap of limbs and the sudden realization that you've been hit before you ever heard it coming. Military and law enforcement units around the world have evaluated systems like this for urban operations where noise discipline matters. And hunters value it for the same reason: devastating terminal performance without alerting everything within a mile. Silent, fast, repeatable. But silence isn't the only future of weaponry. Electricity is evolving too. Number 14. EMG2 Coil Gun. This is not science fiction anymore. The EMG2 Coil Gun is another step forward in electromagnetic weapon technology, but with a focus on portability and user control. Instead of explosive force, it relies on stored electrical energy released in perfectly timed pulses to drive a projectile forward. What makes the O2 dangerous is consistency. Every shot leaves the barrel with nearly identical velocity, meaning predictable penetration and accuracy. There's no powder burn, no barrel fouling, and no recoil spike, just a clean mechanical delivery of kinetic energy. The projectiles themselves are often solid metal slugs designed for maximum mass retention, which means they don't fragment or deform easily. That translates into deep penetration and severe internal damage. And here's the part most people overlook. Coil guns are incredibly difficult to detect. There's no muzzle flash, no explosive crack, and no traditional ballistic signature. In enclosed environments, the shooter's position can be nearly impossible to identify. This is the kind of platform that shows where non-gunpowder weapons are headed: quieter, cleaner, and more precise with every iteration. But if you think electricity is dangerous, wait until we go back to something ancient and perfected. Number 13. Lancehead F1 Crossbow. Humans have been killing with crossbows for over 1,000 years, and the Lancehead F1 proves that the design still works frighteningly well. This is a high-performance tactical crossbow capable of launching bolts at roughly 350 feet per second, generating enough kinetic energy to achieve clean, ethical kills on large game and devastating results on anything else unfortunate enough to be in its path. The bolts themselves are reusable, razor-sharp, and engineered for penetration. Unlike bullets, they don't rely on velocity alone. They combine mass, sharpness, and sustained force, allowing them to punch through rib cages and bury deep into vital organs. What makes the F1 especially dangerous is its balance. It's compact, maneuverable, and fast to reload thanks to modern cocking systems. You're not dealing with a slow, cumbersome medieval relic. This is a weapon designed for modern combat logic. And psychologically, few things are as intimidating as a weapon that kills silently, leaves visible damage, and doesn't give away your position. Ancient tech, modern execution, lethal results. Number 12. Umarex AirSaber Elite X2. This is where air power stops being subtle and starts becoming outright brutal. The Umarex AirSaber Elite X2 isn't just an air-powered launcher, it's a high-energy arrow rifle that turns compressed air into lethal precision. Instead of pellets or BBs, this system fires full-length carbon fiber arrows tipped with razor-sharp broadheads. Each shot delivers massive kinetic energy, easily rivaling traditional compound bows,
but with one major advantage: consistency. The air system produces identical power shot after shot, eliminating fatigue, draw error, or mechanical inconsistency. At hunting distances, the AirSaber punches through bone, muscle, and vital organs with surgical efficiency. Deer, hogs, and other large game drop quickly when hit with a properly placed arrow from this platform. What truly separates it from standard archery gear is ease of use. No draw weight, no holding tension. You shoulder it, aim, and fire. That makes it accessible and dangerous in the hands of anyone who understands basic marksmanship. Silent, powerful, ethical for hunting, and absolutely unforgiving in terms of damage. But if you think arrows are intense, the next weapon fires something far more unexpected.
Number 11. EK Cobra Siege 300. This is not a hobbyist crossbow. The EK Cobra Siege 300 is a tactical repeating crossbow designed for sustained fire, rapid reloads, and devastating close to mid-range lethality. With bolt velocities approaching 300 feet per second, it hits harder than most people expect and far faster than they're prepared for. The Siege 300 uses detachable magazines that allow for quick follow-up shots, completely changing how crossbows function in defensive or hunting scenarios. Instead of firing once and scrambling to reload, you maintain pressure. The bolts themselves are shorter, heavier, and optimized for penetration. At close range, they bury deep into ballistic targets, delivering trauma comparable to handgun rounds without any gunpowder involved. Another overlooked advantage? Minimal sound signature. In enclosed spaces or wooded environments, the Siege 300 is nearly impossible to triangulate. You hear the impact before you hear the shot. This is mechanical force refined into a modern combat tool, and it's still not the most dangerous thing on this list. Number 10. BinTac AEA Harpoon. This weapon exists in a category most people don't even realize is possible. The BinTac AEA Harpoon is a big-bore air-powered spear rifle capable of firing massive projectiles both underwater and on land. Powered by pre-charged pneumatic pressure, it launches harpoon-style shafts with shocking force. Underwater, it's designed for large, aggressive fish and even alligators. On land, those same projectiles carry enough mass and energy to drop wild hogs and other dangerous animals with authority. The sheer size of the ammunition is what makes it terrifying. These aren't pellets, they're heavy, thick shafts that deliver extreme penetration and catastrophic tissue damage. Unlike firearms, this system works seamlessly underwater, where gunpowder becomes unreliable. That makes it uniquely versatile and uniquely dangerous in environments where traditional weapons fail. When people say air guns aren't lethal, the Harpoon completely destroys that argument.
Number 9. Umarex Hammer. This is where the phrase air gun completely loses its meaning. The Umarex Hammer is a .5 caliber pre-charged pneumatic rifle that produces power levels most people associate with Magnum handguns, except there's no gunpowder, no primer, and no explosion involved. Each pull of the trigger releases a massive burst of compressed air that drives a half-inch slug downrange with over 700 foot-pounds of energy. That's enough force to humanely take some of the largest game animals in North America: elk, moose, black bear, even bison. The ammunition alone is shocking. These slugs can weigh more than 500 grains, delivering crushing impact and deep penetration. When they hit, bones break, organs collapse, and animals drop fast. There's no splashy overkill, just overwhelming physics doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Despite its power, the hammer is surprisingly controlled. Recoil is manageable, accuracy is exceptional, and the sound profile is far lower than a comparable firearm. That combination is why it's legal for big game hunting in multiple states. This rifle is living proof that compressed air has officially entered dangerous game territory. Number 8. FX Impact M4. If precision is a weapon, this might be the sharpest blade available. The FX Impact M4 is a modular, competition-grade PCP rifle designed with military-level engineering and surgical accuracy in mind. It doesn't just shoot pellets, it launches heavy slugs at tunable velocities that allow the user to tailor lethality to the situation. What makes the Impact M4 dangerous isn't just raw power, it's control. Adjustable regulators, interchangeable barrels, and externally tunable airflow allow this rifle to be configured for anything from pest control to large game hunting. In higher calibers, the Impact M4 delivers energy levels capable of ethical kills on deer-sized animals, while maintaining extreme precision at long distances. We're talking tight groupings past 100 yards from compressed air. And unlike traditional firearms, there's no powder fouling, no heat bloom, and no explosive signature. Shot after shot remains consistent, accurate, and quiet enough to avoid immediate detection.
Number 7. Crosman DPMS SBR. The Crosman DPMS SBR is a CO2-powered, full-auto BB rifle built on an authentic AR-style platform. And yes, it fires in full automatic mode without using gunpowder. With a cyclic rate exceeding 1,400 rounds per minute, this system can dump a storm of steel BBs downrange faster than many military rifles. At close range, that volume of fire is devastating against soft targets, light materials, and anything unfortunate enough to be caught in its path. It delivers intimidation, suppression, and damage, all without a single explosive charge. Number 6. Hatsan Velox. This rifle proves that simplicity can still be lethal. The Hatsan Velox is a spring-piston air rifle, which means no CO2 cartridges, no compressed air tanks, no electronics, just raw mechanical force stored in a powerful spring. Break the barrel, cock the action, and every ounce of energy is ready to be unleashed. Despite its old-school design, the Velox launches .22 caliber pellets at supersonic speeds, breaking the sound barrier and delivering enough energy to humanely dispatch medium-sized game. Coyotes, foxes, and large pests don't stand much of a chance when hit with a properly placed shot. What makes spring-piston rifles like this dangerous is independence. As long as you have pellets, you have unlimited firepower. No refills, no charging, no batteries. In long-term survival or emergency scenarios, that matters more than raw power. Accuracy is another factor. The Velox features a precision barrel and a tuned trigger system that allows skilled shooters to stack shots tightly at distance.
Number 5. OSA PB4SP. This weapon sits in the uncomfortable space between less lethal and genuinely dangerous. The OSA PB4SP is a CO2-powered tactical pistol originally designed for security forces. It fires large-caliber projectiles, rubber balls, pepper rounds, and marking ammunition at velocities capable of causing serious injury. At close range, these impacts can break ribs, cause concussions, and instantly incapacitate an aggressor. Load it with chemical irritant rounds, and you're dealing with overwhelming pain, respiratory distress, and loss of vision within seconds. The revolver-style cylinder holds multiple rounds and delivers them with heavy trigger pull and serious recoil impulse. It feels like a real firearm because it's meant to enforce discipline and control under stress. While it's marketed as non-lethal, documented injuries prove otherwise. Misuse or improper range turns it into a blunt force trauma weapon with lasting consequences. This is the reality of non-gunpowder force. It doesn't have to kill to destroy. And the next weapon takes that concept to a far more organized, militarized level. Number 4. FN303 Tactical. This is not a civilian toy. It's law enforcement and military hardware. The FN303 Tactical was designed by the same company that supplies weapons to NATO forces. It uses compressed air to fire .303 caliber projectiles from a semi-automatic platform with a high-capacity magazine. These rounds can be impact projectiles, chemical irritants, marking rounds, or gas-based payloads. And while they're labeled less lethal, the force they deliver tells a different story. At roughly 300 feet per second, impact rounds can fracture bones and cause severe internal injuries. Chemical rounds can flood enclosed spaces with irritants in seconds, rendering multiple people helpless almost immediately. Police units worldwide use the FN303 for riot control, suspect apprehension, and area denial. The intimidation factor alone is enormous. It looks like a weapon from a sci-fi battlefield, and it functions with military precision. In areas with strict firearms regulations, civilians sometimes turn to platforms like this for home defense, a fact that raises serious ethical and legal questions. Because when compressed air launches projectiles this large, the line between control and catastrophe becomes very thin.
Number 3. RSX7 Slingshot. This might be the most underestimated weapon on the entire list. The RSX7 isn't a backyard toy. It's a high-tension tactical slingshot system engineered to launch hardened steel or tungsten projectiles at velocities most people would never expect from elastic bands. With the right ammunition, these shots deliver bone-breaking blunt force trauma. At close to mid-range, impacts can fracture skulls, shatter teeth, and cause fatal internal injuries. There's a reason slingshots were banned or restricted in multiple historical societies. They were silent, cheap, and deadly. What makes the RSX7 especially dangerous is accessibility. No license, no noise, no signature. It can be carried unnoticed, deployed instantly, and fired repeatedly with minimal training. Accuracy is another factor. Modern stabilizers, ergonomic grips, and precision bands allow skilled users to hit small targets consistently at distances that would shock most people. In a survival or urban scenario, a weapon like this becomes terrifying because it looks harmless right up until the moment it isn't. But if that surprised you, the next weapon exists at the absolute extreme edge of air-powered destruction. Number 2. AEA Zeus .72. This is not an air rifle, it's an event. The AEA Zeus, chambered in .72 caliber, fires projectiles so large they look like artillery shells compared to standard pellets. Powered by pre-charged pneumatic pressure, it delivers energy levels rivaling and exceeding many centerfire rifles. We're talking well over 1,000 foot-pounds of force generated without gunpowder, primers, or combustion, just compressed air released behind a massive slug. The impact is catastrophic. Large game doesn't run, it collapses. Bones fail. Vital organs are destroyed instantly. This platform is used for the largest, most dangerous animals, where ethical, immediate stopping power is non-negotiable. Recoil is heavy, the report is deep and thunderous, and every shot feels deliberate because it has to be. This isn't a rapid-fire system, it's a controlled release of overwhelming force. The Zeus exists for one reason, to prove that air alone can deliver absolute dominance. And somehow, there is still one platform that defines this entire category.
Number 1. Air Force Texan. This is the benchmark. The Air Force Texan is widely considered the most powerful production air rifle in the world, available in massive calibers that transform compressed air into devastating hunting capability. In its largest configurations, the Texan produces over 800 foot-pounds of energy, launching heavy slugs at velocities that deliver deep penetration and massive trauma. This rifle has taken every major game animal in North America, including bison, with documented ethical kills. What makes the Texan legendary isn't just power, it's purity. Single shot, no magazine, no excess. One pull of the trigger releases everything the rifle has to offer. Gunpowder isn't the source of power anymore. Physics is. If this list surprised you, hit like, subscribe, and comment which one shocked you the most. Stay safe, stay legal, and I'll see you in the next video.